Hello, everyone. My name is Iida from the Byl-Knoefel. 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with inflammatory arthritis, very similar to rheumatoid arthritis. And I have since been able to reverse that on a plant-based diet through the Paddison program. Now, for me, it all started in August 2014. One day I was out running and suddenly my left knee started feeling really funny. Over the next few months, it started getting worse and worse. It got really swollen and painful. I just couldn't figure out what was wrong because it was so swollen that I couldn't actually walk down the stairs. I couldn't bend my knee enough to walk down the stairs. I had to walk down with my left foot first for about a year, which makes it very popular in the underground at Victoria Station at rush hour, in case you'd ever try that. I couldn't stand up for more than a couple of minutes because the knee got more and more swollen then as well. I saw doctors, I saw a homeopath and an osteopath and acupuncturists and physiotherapists, and no one was able to tell me what the problem was. After about 6 months, I was referred to the rheumatology department at UCLH. They ran their tests and concluded that I had ANA positive oligoarthritis. You might have thought my surname was difficult to pronounce. I was told that no one knows why you get this kind of arthritis. I was told that I would be on medication for the rest of my life. And because my husband and I were just getting married at the time, we were hoping to start a family sometime soon. They told me that I had 2 options for drugs that would be kind of deemed safe while you're pregnant. And so in August 2015, which is a year after it all started, that's when I started taking something called sulfasalazine. It was pretty much the worst experience to date for me. It made me feel, I could really feel these chemicals going through my body. I had really weird, unnatural headaches. Within about 2 weeks, I ended up in the emergency room after quite a severe allergic reaction to the medication. They obviously immediately took me off it. I then realized that I had pretty much 1 drug left to go for if I ever wanted to have a baby. I then decided that, this was absolute rubbish. I knew that there was nothing wrong with me. I had always been really well. And I didn't understand why this had kind of suddenly just happened to me. So I decided that I would start my own research and try to figure it out if I could reverse it naturally somehow. So I was doing a lot of online research, and every time that I read about someone who was getting better, it involved a change of diet. So I initially took away dairy, gluten and sugar. I saw the rheumatologist 2 weeks after this, and she just looked at me and said, your results are back to normal, pretty much. Whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. I'm not going to prescribe you any more medication. And I remember as I was walking out to the hospital, and I phoned my husband to tell him I was pretty much crying out of happiness because this is just pretty much unheard of. However, I knew that there was still some kind of inflammation going on in my body that I hadn't been able to attribute to a specific kind of food. And so I continued my research online, and I had also started doing a bit of yoga to kind of increase the mobility in my knee at the time, which helped a lot. So this is the time when I then suddenly came across the Paddison program, where Clint Paddison had established why we get rheumatoid arthritis or arthritis similar types and how to reverse it naturally. What Clint brought to life, I keep saying light, was that the severity of my own immune system attacking my joints was being aggravated by dietary fat, that's pretty much oils, and undigested proteins in my diet. So I was able to jump onto the Paddison program. I was able to resolve the remaining inflammation by going through the food elimination process on the Paddison program. And that was followed by long periods of gut healing foods and certain types of exercise. Now, I never thought that the worst thing that ever happened to me could possibly become one of the best things that ever happened to me. But I have always really enjoyed cooking ever since I was 9, and cooked spaghetti with tomato sauce for my whole family every night, 3 weeks in a row, just to get it perfect. And so basically, when I realized that I needed to go plant-based, which I knew absolutely nothing about at the time, I then decided that I never wanted to feel like I was missing out on foods. So I started kind of testing and developing recipes that were still humble enough to keep the inflammation down, but it still tasted delicious. And my family and friends, they tried the foods and they really enjoyed them, and they kept kind of asking me for recipe ideas. And I'm quite excited to say that in September, my plant-based low oil cookbook is going to be published. And let's see if this works at all. Yeah, these are a couple of photos from Instagram where I go under a kitchen fairy tale, and so she lived happily ever after kind of thing. Yeah, so I have also I included in this cookbook the most kind of humble recipes for those who are a little bit further along, mainly on the Paddison program, or people who are trying to keep inflammation low. They also have some more advanced recipes for those who just want to give plant-based cooking a go. And I also included my story in the book, because I remember that when I started getting better through the Paddison program, through all these beautiful plant foods, I promised myself that I would do whatever I can to make sure that when someone in the future walks into that rheumatologist office, they are given 2 options. And one of them is to take the prescribed medication, be on their merry way, or to try to reverse it naturally through the Paddison program with plants. I think that having the knowledge, what is actually happening in your body, is so incredibly empowering. For me, it was so just crucial in the whole healing process. You know you can do it. You know why you can do it. For my husband and me, actually the best part about it all is that I was able to have a drug-free, pain-free pregnancy. And 8 months ago, I had our little baby boy. And I've been able to breastfeed throughout. He is 100% breastfed, and he's just started trying out solid foods, and he has he's loving all these glorious plants, especially asparagus and sweet potato. And I'm just incredibly grateful for this. He's obviously following in his mother's footsteps. So, thank you.